Well, welcome to our editor's slugfest about the Screen Actors Guild Awards coming up this Sunday, February the 27th. I'm Chris Beachum. We've got Marcus Dixon, Daniel Montgomery, Denton Davidson, and we're going to tell you all about our picks and why we're all sure to be 100%, although I don't guess all of us can be 100% if we've got different picks. Let's talk about
between us. We'll be 100%.
Well, let's talk about the film categories. If you want to watch our TV predictions, that's on a completely different slugfest. 6 categories for film at the SAG Awards. It's the 28th year, so we do have a lot of data to go on, although it was just a few years ago that it stopped being just the Screen Actors Guild voters and they welcomed in SAG-AFTRA. So adding in AFTRA added, I think, over 100,000 people now vote. So, and you also don't have just actors, it's sportscasters and weathermen and talk show hosts and radio show hosts and anybody that has a career that has joined SAG-AFTRA in the performing arts or any kind of on-screen work. So let's talk about Stunt Ensemble. The nominees are Dune, Shang-Chi, No Time to Die, Black Widow, and The Matrix Resurrections. Daniel, who do you have?
I had Dune at first, just considering it's like the Oscariest movie of the bunch. But I since switched to No Time to Die because I feel like Dune is a lot of visual effects. No Time to Die feels like the more like stunty movie with a lot of more literally down to earth action and not down to Arrakis action.
Marcus?
You know, I have Dune, but I'm looking at the odds at Gold Derby, and collectively, everyone seems to think it's No Time to Die. So Daniel may be on the right track here, but I like what you said about Dune being the most Oscar-y. Remember, there was that Wonder Woman win here in stunts a few years ago, and everyone, I think they were predicting a Jurassic World movie, if I'm not mistaken. And between those two, Wonder Woman felt more Oscar-y, and that's what won. So I'm going with that. I'm sticking with Dune.
And
yeah, I'm with Dune right now too. This one's tricky. I had Shang-Chi for quite a while, just because I thought it stood out from the crowd a little bit. Dune is more Oscar-y, I think. I mean, No Time to Die is a little Oscar-y, not as Dune.
A little bit, yeah.
So those probably are the top two. But yeah, I'm sticking with Dune for now.
I'm going with Dune. I don't think I'm going to change this pick. In all of these, by the way, you can predict every Guild Award. There's like 25 Guild Awards in our prediction center. The only a couple have passed. We had hair and makeup over the weekend, but all the rest are still to come. So you can predict all of those. But I generally, if I don't know, I'll go with the one that's like a Best Picture nominee, if there's only one of them. If there's a couple, I'll pick between the two. Dune's the only Best Picture nominee out of this group. I remember that Wonder Woman year. It actually kind of gives me the opposite effect than Marcus. I think it might have been the only Oscar-y type movie, although it had no Oscar nominations.
I just checked. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it beat Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. I said that was probably a lot of us our pick. So I feel like it's Dune though. I think it's going to win so many tech awards over the next few weeks, including at the Oscars. I don't think No Time to Die is even in second. I think it's Shang-Chi. They've been very embracing lately at the SAG Awards of Asian performers with the Parasite cast, with Minari last year winning supporting actress. I've got, spoiler alert, I've got Squid Game winning the TV ensemble, stunt ensemble.
Ooh.
So,
and superhero movies have won for the last 4 years in a row, even against the Oscar-y movies. Like Avengers Endgame beat 3 Best Picture.
That's the second place in my opinion.
I think it's one of those 3.
Thank you, Daniel, for narrowing it down to 3.
Maybe I should go back to that one.
So supporting actor, I don't think this is as easy as it sounds, but, and then I'll give you my opinion first. The 3 I don't think really have a shot. They're not up at the Oscars. That hasn't hurt every single person in the history of the Oscars, but I don't think Ben Affleck, Jared Leto, Bradley Cooper really have a shot here. I do think Troy Kotsur really does have a strong chance, but I'm going to go with the majority and say Cody, Smit-McPhee, Power of the Dog, just because I don't really have a reason not to pick him. I usually go with a front runner according to our odds when I don't really have a reason otherwise. And but I think it's like 55-45. I think Troy is right there. What do you think, Marcus?
Usually you go with, the veteran, the person that's worked with everyone. But in this case, the two frontrunners are Cody and Troy. And, they have maybe more quiet careers. At Gold Derby, the odds overwhelmingly favored Cody Smit-McPhee. And, you couldn't get more different performances between him and Troy Kotsur. I mean, Troy plays the lovable father, and Cody is kind of, I don't know how you describe him, but he's not lovable or huggable. But I am going with Cody. I think Cody could be the person that wins, also with Ariana when we talk about her in a second, but Cody could win all of these precursors leading up to the Oscars and then win the Oscar as well. So I'm sticking with him.
Daniel?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Cody. But this is, I think it's like 51-49. I think it's probably a lot closer than a lot of people realize, because all we've gotten so far are a lot of like critics and journalist groups saying Cody is the best, Cody's the best. And we've seen from time to time that you can get this kind of critics mirage effect going on where things seems like it's steamrolling. And then once the industry groups start chiming in, it's something else entirely, like when Boyhood was steamrolling and then it became a Birdman, when Social Network was steamrolling and then it became King's Speech. So Troy Kotsur does have that huggable performance. He's a veteran character actor, and that really helps at the SAG Awards. So like, I'm going with Cody until I see him lose, but this could be the first place where we see him lose.
And Denton?
I'm with you guys on this one. I have Cody Smit-McPhee. I'm just kind of going with this one until the wheels fall off. I will say if Troy wins, I'll probably predict Troy to win the Oscar as well. I think that this race is that close. Troy has the ensemble nomination as well here, so that's another tea leaf. It's kind of a weird position because Cody has two castmates that are also nominated, but Troy has the film that's nominated, so maybe that balances out. But yeah, I'm going with Cody for now.
Jared Leto
Either
also
one of
has
them-
the ensemble.
What's that?
Jared Leto also has the ensemble.
Jared's
Yeah,
not
and
winning
just
this
yeah,
award.
just watch that happen where Jared Leto pulls like an Idris Elba or an Emily Blunt and wins for the one performance that's not up the Oscar.
I will say if Cody or Troy sweeps, and I'm not even talking about critics' choice, they're just trying to predict. If Cody or Troy sweeps SAG BAFTA, that's who's going to win the Oscar.
For sure.
If it's a split, I don't know what's happening at the Oscars. If they split these two. And I think Troy probably has a better shot at SAG than Cody losing at BAFTA.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Okay, film supporting actress, same exact situation, 3 non-Oscar nominees, Cate Blanchett, Ruth Negga, Katrina Balfe, and then we have Kirsten Dunst finally getting her first ever Oscar nomination. Power of the Dog, just like Cody, and then Ariana DeBose, West Side Story. I'm not even thinking about this one. Ariana, I think, is sweeping the whole season through, and I think she deserves to win, and I think she's going to win. Denton, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, I think this is the only one I'm completely confident about. Like, I was looking at this and I was like, I could potentially go 1 for 6 in the SAG Film Awards. So she's the one I'm thinking is the slam dunk out of this whole lineup. So I won't change from that.
Okay, Marcus?
Yeah, I think it's her. I think she's winning everything this season. And she also has the biggest lead in terms of Gold Derby odds with Kirsten Dunst way down in second place.
I'm glad you've got our odds up, or reminding people to vote. You have all the way up until, I think, about mid-afternoon Sunday. We shut that off, just in case you're wondering, right before the red carpet starts, because that's when they announce the Stunt Ensemble winners. Most of the televised shows like Oscars, we let you predict right up into the last minute, but I think we'll be shutting down around 2 or 2:30 Pacific, but you've got all week to make your predictions. Daniel, you've got Ariana?
I do. I think it's a little closer than that. I think she's fairly comfortable, but the fact that we've seen West Side Story underperform at a lot of places, including the Oscars, and no ensemble nomination here, and The Power of the Dog has been doing so well, I think it's a little closer than that, but I think it's probably going to be, I like you guys say, Ariana throughout for the rest of the season.
The one thing I'll say about Kirsten Dunst is she's still a young lady, but she has been working since she was a kid. So
yeah, she's got that veteran factor.
Well, veteran factor, but also think about how many people in SAG proper, not necessarily after, that she's worked with over the last 25 years.
And she's like she's got that do narrative, whereas Ariana, this is like her really big breakthrough.
Now, the other three categories, I am befuddled. I have to admit, I want to hear what you have to say, and maybe I'll change my mind. Because I think in all three categories, there are three people that could win in each one.
Oh, thanks for narrowing it down.
I'm going to let you narrow down and talk me into something here. I know what I've got in front of me, but I don't know where I'm going to land. So Marcus, we'll start with you on actor. The five are Denzel Washington, Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Will Smith.
I really want to see Will Smith get up there and give a speech. And I have to imagine a lot of the voters want that as well. And I know Andrew Garfield is just a powerhouse in Tick, Tick, Boom, but I kind of feel like this is Will Smith's chance. And I mean, King Richard got in for ensemble, which it wasn't guaranteed to do that. So you could say it overperformed in that respect. Whereas Tick, Tick, Boom did not get in for ensemble, and neither did Power of the Dog. I wonder if anyone of you guys are predicting Benedict to win. I've got him in third behind Andrew and Will Smith at number one.
Daniel.
I've got Will Smith, sort of like the Cody Smit-McPhee thing. Like, I'm going to keep him in my number one spots, except at BAFTA, until I see like some sign of weakness in King Richard, and I just haven't yet. I think Benedict is second, but like just how, King Richard getting in ensemble over Power of the Dog. And then, but Power of the Dog being, the movie of the season, it feels like, for Oscar season. I feel like it's one of them, but Will Smith, it just feels like things are still rolling his way.
And Denton, do you agree, Will Smith?
I have Will Smith. And King Richard has just been doing so well in general with the Oscar nominations and the ensemble nomination here. And he is the most overdue. I would say if Denzel Washington was ranked higher or in a film that was doing better, he might be a little bit more competitive. Not that he's overdue, but he might be bringing some votes away from Will Smith. But yeah, I think this is Will Smith's to lose at this point.
I think they all four feel lucky that Denzel finally got that SAG award for Fences a few years ago. It was a strong narrative that, everybody was writing about that year, that he had never won a SAG award. And it helped him beat, Casey Affleck, and did not help him beat Casey over at the Oscars. So, but Denzel, I don't think so. I have Will Smith on top too, not comfortable. I do think the King Richard ensemble helps, but remember on SAG that it's about 2,000 people on the nominating committee, and then over 100,000 people picking the winners. So you can't always necessarily go by what is on in other categories here.
I will say
go ahead, I'm sorry.
For the Gold Derby odds, Will Smith is number one, 2,295 votes. Andrew Garfield's number two with 500 votes. So that's a pretty big lead that Will has in terms of Gold Derby.
And just like Kirsten Dunst, I mean, Will started on TV 30 years ago. So he's worked a long time, and he's had a nice career of blockbusters mixed with more art house or critically acclaimed. I mean, this is his third Oscar nomination in acting alone. I would love to see Andrew Garfield take it. And he's got the entertainment role. Sometimes they'll go for that person playing an actor like Renee Zellweger, or he's not playing an actor, but he is performing all through the movie, and he's playing a playwright, composer, who who is singing a lot. So I think it's one of the two. Denton, we'll let you start on one of the hardest categories, which is actress. And the fun thing for you here is you've interviewed 2 of these 5.
I have.
You interviewed Jennifer Hudson and Jessica Chastain, Lady Gaga, Olivia Colman, Nicole Kidman are the other 3 nominees. And how do you break it down?
Right now I have Olivia Colman on top. Sorry, Jessica and Jennifer. But it's interesting. We were talking earlier that Jennifer Hudson's the only one in this field that has won an individual SAG for film, which is interesting to think about. I think this could go any kind of way. Nicole Kidman's, playing a TV legend, and they like films about actors, so that could really go on her way. And Olivia Colman, I think she has worked with so many people in film and in television, so she definitely has her fair share of friends that are voting. I really think it's between those 2, maybe Jessica too. Watch Lady Gaga win this one. We'll probably see that happen.
And Daniel?
I'm going with Nicole. It's a divided category, but just looking at how these different films have performed, I mean, House of Gucci overperformed at the SAG Awards with that ensemble nomination, also getting Jared Leto in, but it kind of tanked at the Oscars, so I'm not thinking it's going to have, it really has the juice to get her the win. But really, Being the Ricardos is the film that feels like it's just really outperformed everywhere. It got in Javier Bardem for the surprise nomination here. Then it got in both Javier Bardem and J.K. Simmons for the surprise nomination at the Oscars. She plays a real biographical role. A lot of people in the industry might want to support her after there was that initial backlash to her even being cast. So yeah, I'm going with her, but I would not be surprised. I've got Jessica Chastain ranked 2nd because she has that sort of overdue narrative in terms of the Oscars. And, she has a SAG award for the ensemble for the help, but none individually. So I think she's my number 2.
And Marcus?
I like that you just mentioned the controversy because, these are mostly actors voting here, and they probably felt empathy toward her early on when she was getting people saying she's not right for this role. The acting branch probably felt a certain sort of way about that. And I actually put Nicole at number 1 today. Amazon is really doing a good job of promoting the fact that she has never won for film. She did win for Big Little Lies on TV, but they're doing an exceptional job of getting that narrative out there. And that's why I bumped her up to number 1. I had Jessica Chastain there because she plays the over-the-top, bubbly, colorful personality. So I put her down at number 2. I could still see Jessica winning, but I think Nicole has that extra edge.
Well, I'm in agreement with all of you that it's like a 3, and then I don't think Lady Gaga, now that she missed out and Jennifer Hudson missed out at the Oscars. It's interesting here, 4 out of the 5 are Oscar winners, considering only 1 has got a SAG individual award before, in film at least. Oh, you make it so hard. I've got Nicole in 1st. I've got Olivia actually in 3rd. And I think she could win. I'm just not for any other reason than I have to rank them. I've got Jessica in 2nd. I'm sort of tempted to move Jessica into 1st since none of you have her in 1st. It'll either be a big win for me, like it would be on Olivia's side or for Denton, or it would be a huge loss. Because we all compete with each other too.
Correct me if I'm wrong about Nicole. In the history of Aaron Sorkin's scripts, not just movies he's directed, would this be the first performance from an Aaron Sorkin script to win the Oscar? Because there have been a lot nominated. I don't think there have been wins. There were none from The Social Network, no acting winners, no Moneyball acting winners. So I think this might be the Steve Jobs no acting winners. So this could be the first person to win an Oscar
Trial,
from an Aaron
Chicago
Sorkin.
7.
Yeah. This could be the first.
Wasn't Jack Nicholson nominated for A Few Good Men?
Possibly, yeah. But I know that definitely didn't have an acting win either.
But he's got a boatload of winners at the Emmys, so it's not like that. I want to go with Aaron Sorkin writing in terms of acting wins. Jessica and Nicole both play performers, which we talked about earlier. I think that helps them. And neither of those three movies, Ricardo's, Tammy Faye, Lost Daughter, none of them are Best Picture nominees at the Oscars. They're not, loaded down with Oscar nominations. Lost Daughter, what is it, just a screenplay, and Jessie Buckley. Nicole's got the two other co-stars. Jessica's just got hair and makeup. It's not like any of them are being loved for the films themselves. I would put it that way. So, you know what? I'll switch over to Jessica and let that ride for the weekend. And then we've covered all three of the potential winners there.
Mhm.
Unlike Will
Jennifer Hudson
Smith
wins.
on the actor side, where we're all four in on him, even though Andrew or Benedict could win. And finally, to wrap up our film slugfest, mention again, we have a TV slugfest separately. The five nominees are House of Gucci, Don't Look Up, Belfast, King Richard, Coda, and Daniel, we'll let you start.
I'm torn two ways with this one. I'm predicting Belfast at the moment, but I really think this is as close as I think supporting actor is with Belfast and Coda. They're both heartwarming family stories with like small to medium sized casts. So they're so similar in terms of the kinds of movies they are in terms of their casts, that like it's really hard to figure out which one the Guild would go for. Especially
Sounds like a
because
vote split situation.
I don't know if it's a vote split because they're both such different films. And they both have like one individual acting nominee. So we can't say that there's clearly more support one way or the other that way. And then you've got the, traditional biggest cast wins kind of winner with Don't Look Up, but I don't think that's going to do it this year. I actually wouldn't rule out King Richard, which is actually another small to medium sized cast in a family story that's heartwarming. So actually, maybe it is a vote split and Don't Look Up will win. So I've just called this a four-way race, but at the moment I've got Belfast and Coda as the top two.
Okay, Denton.
Yeah, I'm going against the odds on this one, and this one I'm not going to change, but I'm going with Don't Look Up. I'm going with the family films vote splitting. I'm going with the big stars, the big cast, and yeah, I think historically that's the kind of movie that wins, and I think there will be some sort of vote splits for all of these nice families, and I'm hoping that prevails. That's my 500-point bet against the odds, so I'm hoping that's what brings me to a victory over.
And it's the only Netflix movie, so
and it was
very possible.
The second most watched film they've ever released. So I feel pretty good about predicting Don't Look Up.
I'm so glad you did that, because now I know that you won't beat me or Marcus or Daniel unless Marcus is going down that road.
Well, they have just convinced me. I need to put Don't Look Up at number one, because when you think about it in terms of Belfast, Coda, and King Richard all being kind of similar films, similar ensembles, it really makes me think what one is not similar, which one is the apple in the bag of oranges, and it would be Don't Look Up here, and it is the biggest cast, and it is on Netflix, which we know they love, and I mean it's Meryl Streep and Leo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. I'm going to switch to number one right now.
Yeah, I think half the cast members have won like individual SAG awards before. It's kind of remarkable.
So you went with partially because Netflix, but that did not help Olivia Colman or Benedict Cumberbatch or Kirsten Dunst.
I don't think those are the same type of hits. Don't Look Up was a hit.
Listen, Don't Look Up is in fourth place. The other three have a shot.
Trial.
I can't imagine. Yeah, and that was just last year, and that is not a normal SAG. They normally, of all the groups, I love that SAG is so goes for diversity. Year before was Parasite. They've gone with Black Panther. They've gone with The Help. Slumdog Millionaire, which wasn't picked by, everybody was picking it for Best Picture at the Oscars, but hardly anybody was picking it for SAG Ensemble, I remember. So That's why I've got Belfast in third. We had Trial of the Chicago 7 last year, which was almost a completely white cast, and it was a completely male cast,
Mhm.
and that's not typical for SAG. So I don't think Belfast, an all-white cast, is going to get it. Don't Look Up, it does have a mix of people. I just don't think they're going to fall for that big cast thing here. I think it's King Richard or Coda. My biggest question, I've got Coda in first right now. I think they would love to see that particular cast on stage with their interpreter making a big speech. I could just almost visualize it. But if Will Smith wins, I will be in the middle of the show. I'm going to be really tempted. I guess that'd be toward the end of the show to have picked King Richard, thinking they'll pair that up, Will Smith and King Richard win. Because I think that's your 1-2. But I think I'm going to leave Coda since none of you picked Coda. Because sometimes I can just almost visualize these things before they happen.
I will say Coda was my favorite movie of the year. And last year it was Minari, and I went with Minari for ensemble, I believe. And so I kind of got screwed by going with my favorite. So I'm not picking my favorite this year.
Well, you were the one that had Hidden Figures, another diverse film that nobody else had.
Thanks for reminding everyone.
Will you wrap us up here?
Yeah, I have King Richard in second place. I mean, I think King Richard is a definite threat to win.
I should put King Richard up. I guess House of Gucci would be fifth then.
Oh, that's definitely fifth. It's the only one that's not even a Best Picture nominee.
Right. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. Like Chris said, we're also going to do a TV slugfest, so look for that at Gold Derby. And you can also predict, in addition to the SAG Awards, you can predict the Oscars and all of the guilds and all of these reality shows that we're doing. The SAG ceremony is on Sunday, the 27th, so you're running out of time, but go in there right now and edit your picks if you already have made them.